Hello everyone, my name is Leo with Super Tech. Got a customer that just brought this console over to me for me to change the HDMI port due to a damaged HDMI port on this PlayStation 4. Let's go ahead and get this console apart and replace this HDMI port. Alrighty, we've got the PlayStation 4 Pro board out now. Let me go ahead and get this thermal paste cleaned up. That way I don't get any of this thermal paste on my persona while getting this job done. I have the tendency that if I do leave it on, it gets all over me, then I tend to get it all over my workstation, and it just drives me nuts afterwards. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and clean the thermal paste off of this board. Alright, now that we've got the actual board clean, thermal paste clean, we've got the board out. Just to show you that this, let's see if we can zoom in, this HDMI port does definitely need to be replaced. As you can tell, it's actually broken right in there. So we need to take off this HDMI port and replace it with a new HDMI port. That being said, I'm going to turn the board sideways and let's get under the microscope. Alrighty, let's add some flux to the port. Flux helps, basically the flux helps the solder fuse better with the unleaded solder that's on this board. So use plenty of flux. I've got this tip here that I'm going to be using. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. I'm not sure what the name of this tip is, but it's the tip I use, which has a pretty big surface to it, so I'll make sure that my tip is actually touches the pins to make sure that the leaded low melt solder I'm using touches the pins and fuses with the solder that's currently on there, which will make it easier for me to melt with my hot air station whenever removing this port without having to put too much heat on this board. Alright, we got plenty of low melt solder there. Let's turn it around. Now this is going to be somewhat difficult to do. Maybe not. There we go. Let's make this clear for you. There we go. Same process. And it's actually somewhat blurry for me. It's okay. I'll do well like this. Add some flux. Get your hot iron tip, and let's fuse the low melt solder. Which this is not good. I don't like the fact that it moves. Okay, we're gonna leave it like this. Let me put something heavy on here to where it'll hold it down for me. There we go. Okay, much better. Alright, let's go ahead and get this fused. I'm going to start with this one. Once again, I'm using low melt solder. Alrighty. This board is now ready to have this port removed. To do that, I am going to turn the board around. Put something heavy in the back so that it doesn't move. And you guys will be able to see me take this HDMI port out right now. I use a thicker tweezer, so you can see the tip is that way. It allows me to actually grab the HDMI port just fine without any problems. Alright, so I've got my hot air station I'm going to use. It's currently set to 750 Fahrenheit with 115% airflow. We're gonna start heating it from the bottom. Well, top but bottom of the board. I'm preheating this board, and then I'll get the nozzle a little bit closer to the board afterwards. Okay, let's go ahead and get it closer. Start melting this solder. Should already be melted. Oh, I forgot to get that thing out of the way. You can wait for the hot to actually reach the other end as well. There we go. We have the HDMI port removed. Now let's go ahead and clean off the low melt solder that's on here. Let me turn on this other light though, because I need some light here. Ah, that's not enough light. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and clean this off. Using my wet braid, and we're going to remove the slow melt solder using the same tip I used to put it on. Iron tip. One thing I did not do though, and I failed to do this, is put some flux. Flux will allow the solder to get to be sucked up even quicker to the actual braid. Well, flux attracts solder, and if it's on the braid, it'll attract it to the braid, which then allows me to get it off of the board. Right, bottom is clean. Well, I still need to clean it, but I've got the bottom set. Now let's go ahead and clean this other side and see what the damage is where the port's at. Okay, let's use some flux again, even though there is still some there. There we go. I believe we've got to clean them out. Let's go ahead and clean this with some isopropyl alcohol. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab the port. I only have 2 left. I need to go ahead and order some. Let me heat this up. The holes still have some flux in them. And let's put the new HDMI port in. There we go. They line up perfectly. Let me go ahead and get some flux added to this board. We are going to add regular leaded solder. To hold these pins down. If any of the tips, any of the pins turn out to be bridged, it's okay for now. Alrighty. Let's try not to move that until we get the leg secured. Alright, let's go ahead and get these legs secured. The way we do that is we add flux to the legs. And now we add the leaded solder to it with a nice perfect ball. There we go. Let's go ahead and clean the bottom. There we go. Clean. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Now let's finish adding the not adding but securing these pins on this port. Alrighty, so now what we do, once again, we add a little bit more flux to this. I'm using a thinner tip, which I'm going to soak with some leaded solder. Not soak, but you know what I mean. Get some leaded solder on the tip and then go over the pins just to make sure that they all are secure properly. Alright, let me go ahead and clean this up. I don't know if you got to see that, unfortunately. My apologies if you didn't. Zooming out. Alright, let's do the nudge test. They are all secure. Now we need to secure these legs from the top as well. And we're done. That is just so that the legs don't move. Let's do the other side. go. And that is how you make sure that this HDMI port gets secure in there and it does not move or break. That being said, let's go ahead and clean this up. The liquid you see me pouring on here is actually isopropyl alcohol, 99.5% isopropyl alcohol. Alrighty. We've got it all cleaned up. Let me go ahead and test the filters to make sure that they're all good. Normally those are the things that tend to go out first. We've got my multimeter in diode mode. If they're bad, you will not hear that. Awesome. Filters are good. HDMI port's good. Let's go ahead and put the board together and test. We are going to add some thermal paste. Let's clean this up one more time, just a tad bit. Thermal paste on the board. And let's get the chassis. And let's also clean the chassis out. Let's change the screen. I know my workstation currently is a mess. It's okay though. Alrighty, that is done. I'm going to put this cable back on here. And let's put the board back in. Alright, I'm going to use 2 screws to secure the case. One on this end, and one on the opposite end. This is just to secure it temporarily. To be able to test, of course, to make sure that this is going to work. So now we put the power supply. Awesome. We've got everything hooked up. Let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI cable and the power cord. We're going to go ahead and turn this on. Turn the TV on real quick. Put it into the correct source. Oh, I forgot the hard drive. Okay. Let's turn it on. See what happens. Turn it on. It's coming on right now. Let's go ahead and change the screen. Oh, we got image. Yes, sirree. We are golden. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and put this console together and call the customer, let him know that he is ready to go. Other than that, this console is fixed. For those of you that actually stayed tuned and watched my video, thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Thanks, guys.